Hey everyone, let's underwhelm you today with chicken bone broth. If you're embarking on a carnivore diet, bone broth will be one of your most important foundational foods. It's your friend in the freezer. Having bulk of it on hand is awesomely useful, and you won't even know how useful it is until you just kind of start making it and start using it. In the starting documents of my 13-week program of all the recipes for bone broth, it's kind of crazy that it should actually even be a recipe, really, is it just boiling bones? I think it just feels a little bit overwhelming. Nobody trusts themselves to make their own bone broth. Maybe it just kind of also feels a bit more work than it actually is. So let's put that thought to rest right now, because bone broth could not be easier. Do you want to hear something overwhelming first? Have you ever watched that YouTube video of how they extract oil from the seeds to make canola oil, sunflower oil, rice bran oil, etc.? That is overwhelming. Those machines are like solvent extracting, centrifugal spinning, bleaching, deodorizing. Extracting nutrients from bones is super simple in comparison. It's just boiling water away and the magic begins. Today we're going to make a carnivore chicken stock. You just want 2 to 3 raw chicken carcasses. Ideally, you won't buy them like this. So much freaking plastic. If you can order from a butcher and order 12 carcasses in a box, then you're all ready with carcasses in your deep freeze for succession brothing. It is so easy, guys. 2 to 3 chicken carcasses straight in your slow cooker, covered with filtered water. Fluoride actually gets even more concentrated in something like a bone broth. Water is evaporated during the simmering process, making fluoride and chlorine way more concentrated. So it's just well worth using filtered water here. You want to add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. That helps to draw the nutrients out of the bones, and a couple of teaspoons of really good quality salt to help bring out the flavour of the broth as well. An added bonus, we had roast chicken for dinner last night, so I'm adding in a bunch of cooked bones too. There's still plenty of minerals, gelatin and collagen in those bones. I happily want to get the benefits from adding them into my broth. An extra added bonus, chicken feet. There's so much added collagen in the chicken feet. That took 5 minutes and it's literally ready to go. Stock is an extraction process, so it's not just a flavor infusion. Traditional broths kind of add onion, garlic, carrot, celery, now the greens for flavor. Sure, the sugar in those veggies will absolutely impart the flavors, but the whole point of the carnivore diet is to kind of abstain from plants and sugars and allow that metabolic healing. It's really quite cuckoo to think that the veggies will impart the flavor into the broth, but they won't impart, the plant chemicals that we're actively trying to avoid. Oxalates are water soluble, so all those small oxalate crystals will leach into the broth and have like a potential to exacerbate joint and organ pain over time. This is one of the things that heals on the carnivore diet, so we don't want it added into our broth, which is going to be like one of our foundational foods that we're adding to a lot of things. The longer and the harder that you boil, the more chemical transfer that happens. So the whole point is to give yourself a break from oxalates, give yourself a break from those phytoestrogens, the fermenting FODMAP foods. Onions are sugary because no doubt you've caramelized onions making a foodie dish before. We all know carrots are bringing the unwanted sugar to the broth. Celery is really high in something called apigenin, which is a flavonoid which interacts with estrogen receptors. Also, furanocoumarins, I always get that word wrong, which makes skin more sensitive to sunlight in large amounts. So these are all just plant chemicals that we're trying to avoid. Garlic is a good example of how plant health foods work too. They work by being slightly toxic. And garlic produces allicin, which is like a broad spectrum antimicrobial, and it hits everything, including your good microbes. So carnivore gives you a really good break from plants helping. Aha. Kind of reminds me of that chubby dude from The Simpsons who's always like helping. Ralph? I think his name's Ralph. We're making bone broth. Okay, so we're not making like a plant soup. Veggies make you fart, veggies bloat you, veggies make you feel pretty uncomfortable. And a lot of people don't actually realize this until they remove them. So we're trying to make a really healing broth, not like a chemical warfare soup. We'll stick to bones and we'll stick to salt and we'll stick to filtered water. And that's all we want, thank you. Let's keep it super simple. Bones already bring minerals, collagen, and flavor, and gelatin. All that's left is to pop it outside to cook for 24 hours on your veranda so it doesn't stink your house out. It really does stink pretty bad. 24 hours later, sieve out all the bones and feed them back to the earth. Let it cool down on the bench until it is cool enough to put into the fridge without breaking your cold glass shelves. So sometimes if it's like a nighttime and I can't be bothered waiting up for it to cool down, I'll just put like a wooden chopping board underneath, then stick my super boiling broth straight onto that. The next day, any fat on top can be scraped off and used for cooking. There's much more fat on a beef broth. Chicken broth, not so much, but by removing it, you don't get all that kind of slimy mouth feel in your broth. You get a more clear soup base that's perfect. It's like a nourishing drink in the morning or for chicken soups, chicken stews, chicken everythings. Carnivore egg drop soup is delish. Carnivore chicken soup. You can use some heavy cream and reduce it down and make like a carnivore gravy. If you want to get creative, carnivore noodles are the ultimate comfort food to add into like a chicken and noodle soup. But I'm just happy if you have the foundations there, and however creative you choose to be with them once you have the broth is up to you. I just want people to take that first step in making the broth because it is like a really, really, really good foundational tool. Most recipes call for chicken broth by the cupful, so acquiring a bunch of disposable cups is perfect for freezing bone broth in the right portion sizes. Each cup literally takes minutes to bring back to the boil, to make like a delicious piping hot cup of soup whenever you need it. Are you thinking about joining my 13-week program at the start of next month? Why not join up now and get started with those awesome foundational freezer stashes, which will really help you to get your journey off to an even more successful start. And then you can hit the ground running on the first Monday of the month. Preparation is the key to success on any diet. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Please do comment below if you have any questions. Hopefully you're all super underwhelmed now. That was my goal, for you to know that a cup of tea is extracting contents of a tea bag into water. And a bone broth is the same. It's extracting contents of bones into water. If you go to the shops, buy tea bags and make a cup of tea, you can go to the shops, buy bones and make a cup of broth.